Good morning and welcome to the fifth quarter AZ. My name is Danny Neal and I am one of your co-hosts for today. I'm happy to be with you this morning and want to welcome everybody in on this nice fall morning. But of course, I can't go any further without bringing in my partner in crime, my co-host, the man known all over Flagstaff and all over Northern Arizona simply as the coach. And he coaches flag football. He coaches basketball. If you put him on the baseball field, he'll coach that too. But I must admit, he's got a little bit of a bad attitude today. I don't know why, but we'll figure it out. And y'all just bear with me. Pray for me. All right. So with that, bring on my partner, the guy, the coach, Mr. Tyrone Johnson. Good morning, man. How you doing this morning?
Fine, thanks, and you?
I'm fine, man. I'm fine. I'm glad your attitude had improved from earlier. But anyway,
Hey, man,
man.
I didn't have no bad attitude, man. I didn't. I just sometimes you need to be talked to sternly, and so I just talk to you sternly. Yeah, I didn't have no bad attitude. I just talked to you sternly.
Hey, man.
Sometimes you need that.
Yeah, well, you got to understand I'm grown and I'm old. So if I could be a little senile, it's okay. Right? But anyway, man. Anyway, man, how's your week going? Things going well for you?
Yeah, week's going good. Had a couple games this week with flag football, so we split those, and now we'll look to finish up the week with a strong practice performance and get ready for next week. We started region play yesterday, and so we won that, and so now we want to make sure that in region play we can continue to move forward and continue to get some dubs.
Hey, and on that note, next week you got coming in another conference game. You got Westview coming in, right?
Yep.
And they're actually 5-1. You're number 2 in conference. They're number 1 in conference. Um, so we're looking for a really good matchup. You know, they're ranked number 5 in 5A. You're number 11 in 5A. So this is a chance for you to move up, for you to make a statement. So what do you have planned for us, Coach?
Well, we want to stress the importance of getting wins, and especially at home, as we closing out the season and going down the stretch. We have a goal of wanting to be in the top 8. Of course, it'd be nice to be in the top 4, top 2, but where we're sitting at, if we can get into the top 8 and have at least one home game in the playoffs, that would be beneficial. And so, we're really just talking about Eagle Pride coming out and not looking at flag football as a second sport or something to do just for fun anymore. Now this is our sport. This is the sport you in. Let's put this as a priority. Let's make sure we practice like it. Let's get after it. Let's set some goals, and then let's see what happens.
So you're not a novelty anymore. This is real.
Hey, it's time. It's time.
Hey, man, I've been out there watching a couple games, been on the sidelines, and just enthusiasm with the girls. So a group of girls who never knew each other, maybe, or just passed each other in the hallways. Probably didn't even say hi to each other. Now they give each other high fives, hugging, yelling, screaming, and have become a team. So kudos to you and your coaching staff for that. But contrary to popular demand, you're not the only show in town. So
very true.
Right. And so we want to talk a little bit about Coconino, who plays tonight. They have a 2-2 overall record, 1-2 in conference. They're in 6th place. They had a tough loss last week against Poston Butte, 30-27, and it was probably the ride down to Poston Butte, because that's a long ride, man. We did that once before, and when I got off the bus, I asked you, man, is we still in America? I wasn't for sure,
Yeah.
But tonight they play Bradshaw Mountain, who are 4-1 overall, 4-1 in conference, and they're number 2 in the conference. So that's making for a good game. So good luck, Coach Gary Cook and his football team. Also, Coach Mickey Crimmins and Flag High, they're on a 2-game win streak. They're 2-3 overall, 2-1 conference, and number 3 in conference. Last week they went to Copper Canyon and won 35-6. So in the last 2 games, they've outscored their opponents 62-6. So they're on a really, really good roll right now. And tonight they play Mingus, who is number 3, who are 3-2 overall, 2-2 in conference, and number 4 in standings in conference with Flag High being number 3. So that's going to be a good game in the Dome tonight. Try to get all the Flag High fans out there to support them. I will be there. volleyball, we got Coach Scott Denny and her Coconino Panthers. We're having a little bit of a tough year. They're 1-8 overall, 1-8 in conference, and 0-5 in region. I don't know exactly how the conference and the region works in volleyball, but that's what the standings show. And they're number 7 in the standings. And I don't know why, but their game against Bradshaw Mountain yesterday was canceled. So they will not play again until October 3rd, and that will be the city crosstown rivalry at home against Flagstaff High School. And so Flag High, because Beth Hagman, they're 9-2 overall, 7-2, 9-2 in conference, number 1 in conference, number 5-0 in region, number 7 overall in 4A. So got a lot of good things going, man. Teams are playing hard, working hard. Cross country's doing well. I'm trying to look up their schedule, but all it has is their meets. It doesn't tell whether they're finished or anything like that. So hopefully our guest today can help us a little bit with that, understanding how that works. So that's my recap for the high school sports of the day. Is there anything I left out, Coach?
I don't think there's anything you left out. The difference between region and conference, typically what they're saying, like region is our actual Grand Canyon region that you're in, and then any conference games is just a 4A. So
right.
Yeah.
But they didn't have it slated like that for the football and everything else. They had different ones. So that's why I was looking. But anyway, man, I mean, regardless, our team's out there working hard, playing hard. Next week, another crosstown rivalry, volleyball with Flag High and Coconino, which is always a fun time. So they'll be over there battling. You'll be at Flag High battling the team that you're fighting for first place. So there's a lot of exciting things going on in Flagstaff. I think there's a cross-country meet where all the Flagstaff teams are in that. But once again, when we get to our guests, we'll talk about that. So, hey, man, just a lot of good things going on. And so, yeah, anything else for us before we bring on our guests?
No, let's get into the guests.
Hey, man, let's get into this. It's something that, I'm learning a lot about, because this is what Flagstaff is about. And this is the, should we say, cross-country coach at NPA, Mr. Xavier Rodriguez. Welcome, Xavier. How are you doing today, man?
I'm doing fantastic. How are y'all doing? It's a beautiful fall morning, as you said earlier.
Right, it is, and I have never met you before. This is our first time talking, first time meeting, so this is special to us, and I just want to say welcome to you.
Well, thank you so much for having me on the show. I'm pretty new to this show. Just heard about it this week, so I was very excited to get the invite to come on, and I'm excited to meet y'all and talk with you and see where this thing goes. So I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you.
Absolutely. And yeah, we appreciate you joining us this morning and blessing us with your presence on the show. So why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself, since we haven't formally met or anything like that. Let us know about you, and then let the audience know about you.
Yeah, so my name is Xavier Rodriguez. I've been the head cross-country coach at NPA. This is my second season. I'm also the head track and field coach. I had one full season. Last year was my first full season, and the spring of 2022, I was the assistant coach and head distance, and then got the head coaching role for both cross-country and track. So I'm fairly new to NPA. We're still in the culture building phase, but I've been in Flagstaff since 2014. So I'm very familiar with all the places to run, all the places to race, the atmosphere, the restaurants, just everything about Flagstaff. I've been here quite a while. I came over from Texas. I ran high school and collegiate track and field and cross country, and decided to move out here. I was training post-collegiately for a while and then started coaching, but coaching's been near and dear to my heart ever since I was in college and competing in collegiate athletics. And so I just see it as a way of giving back, and I love being at NPA, and I love the people that I get to work with on a daily basis.
Yeah. So what brought you out this way to Flagstaff? That's one thing that we always are interested in, because Coach Neal and myself, we're both natives of Flagstaff. So we're always interested when people come in and, decide to come to Flagstaff as their destination. What brought you this way?
The humidity of Texas was really getting to me, and I was trying to train and see if I could get to the next level. And I'd always heard of Flagstaff, Arizona. I competed against NAU when I was in college at the national meet and some big meets. And so I had a roommate in college who was advising me to come out here and train. And so I had never been here before, but I'd heard great things about the city. And so I came out here thinking I was going to put in like a 6-month to 9-month stint, and here I am 9 years later, and it's just a place that I fell in love with and I can't leave. And obviously the weather that I woke up to this morning and we've had all week is just much better than the weather I was used to in Texas, and I just appreciate running and training here and getting the altitude boost when you go down to sea level and race as well. So that's pretty much what brought me here, and it's what's kept me here as well.
So it's not knowing that the Cardinals were always going to beat the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Xavier, you ain't got to say nothing to that. He trying to be funny because I'm a Cowboy fan.
My family were all Cowboys fans, so I get it. I grew up, not really rooting for the Cowboys or really much anything. Oddly enough, I was a Peyton Manning fan, so I always rooted for the Colts and whatever team he was on. And when he retired, I kind of stopped watching football for teams, and I more play fantasy now. But there's Cowboys fans everywhere. I totally get it.
Oh, that's so sad.
Look, there's the star.
Yeah, but it's got a cardinal on top of it. Well, so
I heard they had a pretty good game this weekend.
What's that?
I said I heard they had a pretty good game this weekend.
They did. The Cardinals did. But anyway, coming into Sandawa, you came into a culture where they had already won 5 state championships since 2014 or something. Am I correct about that?
NPA, I think, had a couple state championships. We've been in a drought for quite a while.
Okay.
The girls won in 2020 and haven't won since. And the boys, it's probably been 7-8 years since NPA's had a state title.
If you say since 2020, that's a drought. That's like 3 years ago. You just
the programs that I'm used to working with in Texas, a lot of those schools are putting like 5, 6, 7, 8 in a row. And so my idea of a drought might be a little bit different.
So when you were in high school in Texas, were you part of those programs that won state championships when you were a runner?
So I wasn't part of them when I was in high school, but I went to these running camps that developed my coaching philosophy that I've taken my athletes to. And so I've been affiliated with a lot of those schools since then. And those are the schools that I was introduced to. And when I started coaching when I was in college and helping out athletes, I was associated with those programs that were putting, 5, 6, 7, 8 in a row at some point.
Yeah.
So,
and then
no, go, Coach.
Go ahead, Coach.
So are you familiar with the University of Texas, San Antonio?
I am. I actually was born in San Antonio. My youngest brother graduated from UT San Antonio, and I was recruited by UTSA and almost went there. It was probably my number 2 or 3 school. So we competed against them. They were in our same conference. So I'm very, very familiar with them.
And the reason I asked that, because the coach of that team, Aaron Fox, is probably one of the greatest runners ever came out of Flagstaff.
Yeah, I met Coach Fox. He was a great guy. So that's really cool.
Hey, so that's a nice connection between, and he's still there.
Mm-hmm.
So, and so have you talked to him about Flagstaff at all?
No, actually. So when I haven't talked to him since I was like 19 years old, when I was getting, I think I was getting recruited at 18. I may have seen him in a few meets, but we never talked or discussed any of that at all. I was, 18 years old, just out of San Antonio. So there was a strong possibility I was going to go there, but I was mostly talking with their distance coach because he was the head track coach. So I was mostly talking with their distance coach.
Okay. So what university did you attend? I don't know if you mentioned that.
No, so I went to Stephen F. Austin State University. So they were in the Southland Conference. They've moved to the WAC now, and so they're competing in the WAC, but a smaller D1 in East Texas. So we competed against UTSA, Lamar, McNeese State, Texas State, schools like that. And so very, very similar besides the mountains to Flagstaff, national forest land all over the place. So there was plenty of forest land and country roads to to run on. And so this was a seamless transition in a way, except for the altitude, because it seems so similar to where I went to college.
Okay. And then you said that you came across NAU at nationals and everything. And
Mhm.
so as a coach, when you're coming in and you're trying to establish a culture in high school, and you've already been kind of to the epitome, to the peak of the profession as far as college goes and stuff like that, is it more difficult for you to I guess set expectations because you're used to this being here and maybe they're not there? Or is it just like, these are my expectations and you're going to live up to them?
It's definitely difficult, and it's a little bit of both, because I've got a standard, right? And the team knows the standard as soon as I walked in. I let them know my background, where I came from. And so I'm used to a certain standard, being at the state level in high school and getting to the national, semi-national level, getting to the Division I level in college, getting to the national championships in college. There was always a standard to be met. And so I've, given that or brought that to my coaching as well. So they know the standard, but at the same time, it's a very different level of competition, especially with NPA being a Division IV school, which is the smallest in Arizona, even smaller D5 on the track. And so it's very different expectations. And so I had to come across a little bit different when I first got here as an assistant, building the culture with leaders initially. But after that first spring, and then I would say that first fall, it really started to catch last spring after my first full year here. And now we've got a well-oiled machine where they know the standard, the leaders know the standard. We've risen the level and we've had a ton of success this fall. And we're starting to get on the map right now. And so they understand that standard. But yeah, it was very difficult initially because just a very small school and very different expectations. But now it's definitely grown. The culture is where I like to see it right now, and we can only get better from here.
And you've talked about you're having a very successful season. What is your season looking like? Like I said, I went online trying to check it out, and all it has is the events. It doesn't have the standings or the finishers, qualifiers, whatever the case is. So how are you doing this season?
For sure. So we opened the year at a brand new meet, the opening night in Paradise at Paradise Valley. And the boys went out there, won the whole thing. Our top boy, who's a freshman, he won the individual title by almost 40 seconds. So we went out there and had a great time, our first meet for the boys. Our girls, we didn't have enough for a full team, but our top finisher, she finished second overall in that meet. And it was 110 degrees. And for us in Flagstaff, right, like we woke up, it was 60 degrees that morning, and we went down there in 110 degrees and beat all the Phoenix teams. And so it was very good. It was a very good opener for us. And then we came out to the peaks here at Buffalo Park at our home meet. The boys tied for second. Flag High was the only team that beat us, and they barely beat us. It's the closest we've ever been to them at this meet. Our top boy finished second overall, was the top local finisher, lost to a guy from Page, I think. And then we had our top girl in the top 10. So we, went to the next meet. Boys got tied for second, more top 10 finishes and medals. The next meet was back here at home. The boys got second at that one, and our top individual boy won the whole thing again. Top girl was top 10 again. And then at our next meet, we faced the defending champs in our division and the current ranked number 1, and we beat them at their own course and won the whole thing. Our top boy finished first again, and our top girl finished third, and we had another girl in the top 10. So very good season for us so far, much better than we've had in a really long time.
Nice. And when you were talking, you said that you didn't have enough girls to constitute or to make up a team. How many do you need in order for it to make up a team?
So it's like basketball. You need 5. So you can put 7 out there at once. Some meets you can have 8. Some meets you can have 10. But 5 are getting scored, and then 7 can technically get added to the scoring. But you get your top 5 are the ones that get added, and 6 and 7 mostly come into play in the event of a tie. So at the Peaks meet with the boys, we tied for second, but we ended up getting third because the other team's number 6 runner was ahead of our number 6. And so that's how the cross country scoring works. It's kind of like golf, lowest score wins. And you just add up each individual score until you get to 5. And if there's a tie, you get to 6.
Okay. And then, so if you don't have enough girls going in, individually, do they get to qualify for state or anything like that? Or do you have to have a team in order to qualify?
So you've got to, you can qualify in two ways. So right now, we'll have enough when we get to the sectional meet to try to qualify for state. We had a couple girls that were sick early on, so they couldn't make the trip. But each individual meet, you have, if you want to be in the team standings, you need at least 5. If you don't have 5, then all the individuals can still get their individual medals, their top 10 and things like that. When we get to the sectional championships, you need a team to be able to qualify for state. And if you don't, then you can qualify as an individual as well.
Okay, that sounds good. And so you personally get Flagstaff, just from doing this show, we found out just what a big running community Flagstaff is. How have you fit into the whole running community?
Very well. The first couple weeks were pretty hard because I didn't know anybody here, but then I started joining the local long runs, the bagel runs on Thursdays, and I met a lot of really good runners and just great people. And so I've had a lot of roommates that have been like world record holders or US national champions. Like I've developed this community and I've made a lot of friends with a lot of professional athletes or coaches or whatever it is. And so I've been able to really establish a community and really get to know the people here. And that's helped me get to know the different places to run and train and things like that, get into some of the facilities, some of the coaches here. I know some people affiliated with NAU, things like that as well. So it's been very kind to me. And I've really become a Flagstaff local, I would say, in the last 9 years. And it's just, it feels like home.
Nice.
That's good.
And then take us through a typical day for you as far as your practice. Do the kids stay right there close to the school? Are they running out across town? What's a typical day for your athletes in practice?
Yeah, so summer and then during the school are totally different. Like with summer, we've got so much more time. We can be a little more creative with where we're going to run, things like that. We may go to Lake Mary, go to Buffalo. We may go to some other spots. When school starts, NPA is right next to Sanawa. So Fox Glen Park is pretty much our mainstay because a lot of the kids don't drive. So the ones that don't, they can either ride their bike to school or they can walk to school. It's right across the street, basically. And then we use Buffalo Park quite a bit. So those are our 2 main spots for practice are going to be Buffalo Park and Fox Glen Park. And then a typical day, we've got 2 to 3 workouts per week, depending on, how the week's going to get set up. We usually do those workouts at Buffalo Park or on Sanawa track. We'll use that as well. That's our 3rd spot, right next to school too. So we'll do some kind of like tempo kind of run that we call PPMs or pace per miles. And then we'll do some kind of interval work, which we call SI or slow intervals or a PI pace intervals, which are based off of those tempo runs. And then all the other days are going to be recovery runs, which we also do some kind of stride work afterwards. We do some kind of drills afterwards with bands to really work on those neuromuscular muscles and skills so that way they can recall them in a race. So every day is filled with something, whether it's going to be a recovery run with drills and strides or a specific workout that's going to work on the aerobic development system or that's going to work on their lactic threshold or lactic development system as well, their anaerobic threshold too. So it's all specific. Things may change because of weather, lightning, smoke. We had to cancel practice the other day, but they typically follow a similar schedule. And then if we have a meet on a Wednesday, that might change things. Most meets are on Fridays or Saturdays, so that it follows a very typical schedule week to week, but that's kind of the way it looks.
And with cross country being such a specialized sport, I mean, to get out there and run the miles that you run, you gotta want to. Just anybody's not, oh, I'm gonna go run 4 miles today, that type of thing. How do you feel about your athletes playing other sports?
It's not really something I can control. And I think, development at a younger age, I've always been advised and I've always seen, playing the most sports possible when you're very young is really good for your development. Play soccer, play basketball, play baseball, play football, whatever it is, to really develop those skills and that athleticism and that strength. for me, my philosophy is once you start to get to, I feel like the sophomore kind of age, you should probably start specializing those and really going to your strengths. And some people are still figuring that out. And so I let them explore that. And it's not something I can control. I'd rather they stick with cross country and track just so that way they can maximize their potential. But I understand a lot of them really love basketball. They really love soccer. They really love ballet. They really love whatever it is. And so I try to fit in my training to whatever it is they're doing outside of running as well. And it may look different. It may look like lower mileage. We may skip a workout here or there because they've got a different workout with their other sport. Typically, they don't conflict. Most of my team, if they're playing another sport, it's basketball, which is right after the season. I don't have any soccer and cross country or volleyball and cross country, so those don't overlap. This summer may overlap with different club sports and select teams and things like that. It's not something I can control. I'd rather they stick with, like I said, running. But if they're playing another sport, more power to them, and I'll just fit the training and adapt it around it.
Okay. And one thing I haven't heard you mention, and that's weight training. Does that play a part at all in your training?
It does at a typical level, but with NPA, our weight room is very small. We don't have much in it. And to be honest, there's not a lot of time. Like with our structure, the schools I was used to in Texas, you've got a specific cross-country class and a track and field class. So you've got built-in time. If you're in the morning practice and practice bleeds over, you now have a period of class where you can still do weights or core or whatever it is. And you've got time at the end of the day in your track and field class to do that too. At NPA, we don't have that luxury. I get maybe an hour to 75 minutes with them, which isn't enough time to really structure a lot of that. So we do our weight training would be our band work, our barefoot drills, where we're really working on the quadriceps, the ankle, the calf muscles, the shoulders, things like that. So we pretty much do it with our core. During the track season, it looks a little bit different. We have winter training. And so a lot of the higher end athletes will do some kind of weight training. We'll go to FAC, we'll go to a gym in town, and we'll do something specific with the med ball, with low weight, high rep kind of stuff. But it definitely has a place in my program. But with time constraints with school, it's just really hard during the fall, I would say.
Yep. And you have a meet coming up to where you're gonna be with Flag High, Coco again. I believe, let me see, what's the meet called? Desert Twilight in the East Valley. Yeah.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that and what you're looking forward to. And I mean, if you finish second to Flag High and you came close, maybe this is the one where you get them.
I won't be shy. Our goal is to beat Flag High tonight. That is one of the boys' side. It's all fun and games. I know a lot of their runners. I was actually helping out one of their freshmen. He was a middle schooler. So I know them, and it's all love between us and the other schools. It's very good camaraderie between us when we see them. But we're all competitive. And so we do want to be the best school in Flagstaff. There's a lot of pride with that. And this is the closest we've ever been to that. Their enrollment is probably 10 times bigger than ours, and we're right there with them. And so it's an exciting place to be. But yeah, Desert Twilight's probably the most exciting regular season meet of the season. It'll be down at Toka Sticks Golf Course at night under the lights. So we'll leave in probably 3.5 hours. I'll go to the school, pick up the vans. We'll take the kids down. We'll check into the hotel. And then there's 25 different races spread out. There's over 3,000 athletes from Texas, from Colorado, from Utah, from New Mexico, from Alabama, California, Arizona. All over the country are coming into this meet. The races start at about 6, and the last race of the night is at 9:50 p.m. So it's a much different atmosphere. Lights all over the course, glow sticks, just a ton of really cool, a really great atmosphere, a ton of really great athletes and coaches from all over the place. So my team's excited. I experienced it for the first time last season. Performance-wise, we didn't do as well as we wanted, but everybody had a lot of fun, and we learned a lot from it. So the next time we had a big meet under the lights in Scottsdale on the track, we were more prepared for that. And so everybody's looking into this as it's not something that we're used to as far as we're going in there trying to get first or second as a team, because some of the top teams in the country from Colorado, Utah are going to be at this meet as well. So the expectation isn't necessarily to place well as a team. It's for each individual to run their best race, kind of control that anxiety that's going to come with thousands of athletes in your meet, and get ready for the sectional championships and the state championships so we can alleviate that anxiety at big meets. So this is more of a have fun, run your best time of the year, experience something you've never experienced before, try to beat the teams in our division, but really just enjoy the experience and prepare us for the bigger meets at the end of the year. But yeah, we're experiencing that today. All the local schools should be involved in that. Coco, Flag High, Basis, ourselves, all the top teams in Arizona will be there for sure. So it's going to be a really exciting thing. I'm excited to pack up here in a bit, get in the vans and get down there. And then, we end the day at like 10:30. We get some food, get back to the hotel about 11, recap the race, then everybody goes to bed. We wake up, go for a short run, check out of the hotel and come back to Flagstaff. So it's a tradition that most Arizona schools have, and it's one that I'm proud to be a part of. And I'm definitely, the last couple of years I've been here, made sure it's on our calendar, and all the kids are really excited for it.
Well, that's all right, Coach. It sounds like you got it going on. As we used to say back in the day, you got it going on. But that's good. But it's that time of the show, Coach, where we ask you to impart a little wisdom on the people and the kids out there listening. But we do it through the avenue of Coach Johnson's golden nugget question of the day. Get him, Coach.
So, Coach, Coach Neal alluded to the difficulty of being a runner and stuff like that in terms of just probably preparation, physicality on the body. But from the mental aspect, how do you get athletes to really focus in on the mental aspect and really push through the tough times when the body is saying no, but the mind got to say yes to keep going?
Yeah, that's a great question. A lot of that is personal experience and like what I went through as a runner and athlete and person. And so it's a lot of that goes and is tied with goal setting. And so we set goals at the beginning of the season. The serious ones will set goals and tell me their goals. So when it gets hard, it's, hey, we're doing this workout so you can hit this specific goal. And there's got to be that instillment of belief from coach to athlete as well. And so it's, hey, let's look at these goals here. This is really hard, but you've set this really stretch goal, like hard stretch goal. So these are the workouts that are going to give you the opportunity to do that. So I know it's difficult, but if you want to get there, we've got to hit steps 1, 2, and 3, 4 first. And this is what you're on right now. So let's get through this. Take a breath. I know you're tired. So if it's an interval workout and they're really tired, that's typically the conversation I'll have is like, hey, we're halfway. Let's just keep on, we've got some great momentum. Let's keep that momentum. You're almost there. Just one at a time. It's a tempo type workout. I'll be at the mile markers, giving them their splits, letting them know how they look and letting them know like, hey, you're on a PR pace, you're on course record pace. And that's been really successful, I would say, because in this, the summers where we put the bulk of our work in, and a lot of those conversations were had, in the summer at Buffalo Park, or when I took them to camp in Texas in July, is a lot of those questions of like, hey, here's your goals. This is what you said you wanted to do. This is the difficult part, and this is what's going to help you get there. And a lot of them already hit their goals for the season because they've been able to push through those hard workouts. And so it's just reminding them of their goals and telling them that they're on the path right now. If they continue with that workout, they're going to see the avenue to hit those goals. Is pretty much the way I word it and how I approach that.
Nice.
That's all right, Coach. And we just appreciate you being on, and we always try to set up these challenges. So what I want to do one day is get you out on the track with Coach Johnson. We're gonna run a mile, but he only has to do 2 laps. You have to do you'll have to do all 4, and I'm gonna put my money on you.
Hey, he don't know my long distance. He don't understand. When I was in college, I had to run 10 miles to qualify for basketball practice. So I ain't new to this. Hey, you better watch what he asking for.
Yeah, hey, Coach, you just turned 50 this year, man. Yeah, you new to this. So we gonna get y'all on the track. So that he just got to run two laps, and you got to run all 4. And we gonna see if he can hold on.
That would be a fun challenge. That is an interesting one for sure. I will say I'm training for last year in track. they had 2 community miles, and I won both of them down in Phoenix. I went 4:53 and 4:42. So I'm trying to break 4:30 in Scottsdale this year. So maybe in the spring or something we can try that. And if you can run, you think you can run 4:30 for 2 laps? That's my goal for 4. So.
You got him, Coach. You got him.
Hey, if it's next spring, I'm gonna start training now, and I'm a shoe in there.
Let's film it. Let's do it.
It's on. We got this. Coach, thank you so much for being on. And we ain't gonna forget about you. If you ever have anything that you want to put out there to the public, fundraisers, anything you got going on, hit us up, man. We'll get you on here. We'll put it on. So yeah, hey man, it's just been a pleasure meeting you. Your family now. So
I appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you for coming on, man.
Yeah, once again, thanks so much for having me on. This has been a great experience. It was a lot of fun. Y'all are great to have and be hosts and everything. And so thanks for welcoming me on, letting me introduce kind of NPA to the world there. Like I said, we're a small school, but we're trying to make some noise, and things like this will just help us out and get the word out there for what we're doing. So I appreciate what y'all are doing for not only us, but high school sports in general. And I think it's a really big thing, and athletes need to get shouted out. And so I really appreciate what y'all are doing. Thanks for having me on. And I'm excited to, get our results out there tonight. And hopefully we've got something more to talk about for the season. But thanks so much again for having me on, both of you. I really appreciate it.
Right. And you said giving the athletes a shout out.
Good luck tonight.
10 seconds. Who's your top athletes?
Johannes Van Meerten on the boys side, freshman, and Jalen Weiss for the girls side, sophomore.
All right. We'll be looking out for him. Coach, thank you. Good luck in the tournament. Hit us up, man. Let us know how you did so we can include that in our show next week.
And Coach, absolutely. I know that you're running a meet, not doing a tournament, so good luck in the meet.
I appreciate you using the right terminology.
All right, now.
That goes my perfect show. He be waiting on that. He waits on that. Hey, Coach Rodriguez, good luck in your meet and the rest of the season, man.
I appreciate it. Thanks so much. Best of luck the rest of the way for y'all show, too.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye. All right, Coach. We got another family member, man.
Yeah, man,
family
that
just
was cool.
gets bigger and bigger and bigger all the time, man. It's nice to see a young man like that just coming in and putting in work. And we just don't know who all we have in our community. That's the best thing about this show is I'm learning. Being from Flagstaff, we know everybody, we think. Come to find out.
So we meet somebody new like this.
Right. Come to find out, we don't know half the people doing big things in this town. So good thing, Coach. And now I know you got to go on with the rest of your day, get your things done, go to practice. I'm going to just chill, get ready to go to the game tonight. We're playing Calhoun, and that's it, man.
Before you do all that, man, do what the producer told you to do.
Oh, hey, we want everybody to hit that like button, subscribe, let us know how you feel about it. If you have guests that you think should be on the show, someone you feel like there's a QR code in the corner that you can see, use that. We have forms online that you can fill out. Let us know who we're missing that we should have on this show, and we'll run them down. We always got Mr. Flag, Coco Russell Woods, who will put on his case and find them. So let us know. How was that, Coach?
That was good, Coach. I appreciate it. I'm quite sure the producer appreciated it too. QR code came up and everything. So great job. Look here, man. I ain't got time to mess with your foolishness. I do got work to do. So we appreciate everybody joining us today. I don't know what y'all got to do today, but we hope you have a good one. I do know one thing, though. You ain't got to go home.
But you got to leave here, Coach. Your attitude got better, partner. Bye. Peace.